Hi, I'm at the Storyhouse in Chester, where last night I was fortunate enough to see the opening night of Summer Holiday the musical. Today I'm meeting Ray Quinn, who is in the lead role of Dom, which was formerly played in the film by Cliff Richard. Let's go and meet him.
We're working for a week or two, fun and laughter on a summer holiday.
Ray, thanks very much indeed for taking time out of your day.
No worries.
I know you've got a busy schedule. It was the opening night of Summer Holiday the musical here in Chester last night. How did the show go?
Fantastic. Yeah, really well received, to be honest. This is a theatre that I've personally not played before, and I know it's quite new to the tour.
Yeah, it's about 18 months old.
Game, but yeah, no, it was really nice. Very, very different, but very intimate. And yeah, very well received. The audience really enjoyed it. And to be fair, there's not been one venue we haven't done that they haven't give us the love they gave last night.
It's a great show. I mean, there's so much energy that comes off that stage, and all the cast members, the ensemble, you're working very, very well together. Has that been demanding for rehearsal? Because it's a very energetic show.
It is, yeah. I mean, we had our creative director, Rocky. She's one grinder. She will, put as many dance moves, as many things in there, just to keep it energetic, to make the audience seem like they're involved in, an energetic adventure full of fun and happiness and innocence. So, we did have our work cut out, but at the end of the day, we've been very, very lucky in the casting department with the likes of, the cast that we have. They're all very, very talented individuals and lovely, genuinely lovely people. And I think they all had the same passion as I did, as did Rocky and the producers, to make a really fun, exciting show, because the world we live in these days sometimes can be a bit rough and hard.
There is definitely a really good feel-good factor to it, and you've captured that from the film and brought it to the stage, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But how do you manage? I mean, the schedules are grueling, and you must go home. I mean, there is, as I said before, so much energy coming off that stage. How do you get to sleep at night?
I know, yeah. Sometimes difficult, sometimes not so difficult. No, it's fine. It's the way of the tour and life. It's the way of showbiz and entertainment. I say to my missus, I work nights. I don't, but you know what I mean. We don't get in till late. We're here most of the day. But that's just the game we're in, and we're happy with that. We're used to that, I guess, as a company. So we get on with it.
It's a long tour, though, isn't it? How long you've been touring? Well, you went into rehearsal presumably in April. You've been touring since May. You're going right the way through to November. I believe you've only had a couple of weeks off so far.
Yeah.
That's grueling. You're away from home all of the time.
Yeah, I mean, most of the venues I've been lucky enough with this particular tour, I've been able to commute most venues. Obviously we opened in Liverpool, so I could go home. Yeah. There's been other places like Leeds and stuff that I've been able to commute. Obviously being here in Chester, I could commute home.
Yes.
So, it breaks it up a little bit, but it's a great job and a great company to work for, a great show to be involved in. So, apart from this sort of long days and whatever, there's no complaint at all, certainly not from me.
I saw the show last night and I was bowled over by it. There's some great choreography. You have actually made Cliff Richard's part your own, which I think is probably quite important. Cliff Richard's iconic. Everybody remembers Summer Holiday. Well, everybody from my age does. You possibly don't. How much work have you had to put into that to still stay loyal to the film, but make the part your own?
I always think I'm sort of reason, when I was a kid, my nan, bless her, she's not with us anymore, but she loved Cliff Richard, and she always said to me when I was younger, when I was going into the musical theatre, well, if there was one thing that I could see you do, or two things, she'd always say Gene Kelly in Singing in the Rain or Cliff Richard, something to do with Cliff, and I'd be like, oh, alright, yeah. And it came along, sure enough, I got a phone call from David King, our producer, with the opportunity to have a chat about it and get the scripts sent through. So I was like, yeah, it wasn't even a thought in my mind I wanted to do it. And then obviously I thought to myself, well, do I watch the film or don't I? And I took it upon myself to make the decision artistically not to watch the film, because I didn't want to do a copy and paste version.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be Cliff on stage. I didn't want to, resemble that. Even though we are doing a Cliff Richard songbook within the summer
Yes.
holiday, because a lot of the songs aren't from the
Yeah,
film.
I noticed that, and that was quite refreshing to see as well, because
Exactly.
it's almost a homage to what he's been doing, but incorporating it into the summer holiday show, and that worked.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's had a massive career, unbelievable career that people in the UK know and love and cherish and still do, and have memories from that. So for me, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to play Don. This is my normal day job. Every time I do a role in the West End or on tour, whatever it may be, you have to have your own stamp on it. Otherwise, the people in here live watching you don't believe it. Copy and paste for me is a real sort of, it's a pet hate of mine.
Yeah.
I'd rather go in and do something fresh, especially now the age I am and the experience that I've been able to manage to get. I think in a way that's just the way I work.
Yeah.
So, I first started off with the accent, sound a bit like sort of Phil Mitchell. And towards the end,
I was going to ask you about the accent,
Yeah.
because you definitely didn't have a Ray Quinn accent for that at all. It was somewhere between RP and Jerry Upper Lip.
Yes, yeah.
So
Yeah, it was fun.
Where did that come from?
So when I got into rehearsals, I'd read the script like once, and I said to Raki and a couple of the producers and the creatives team, what are you looking for accent wise? Because I said I didn't want to watch the film, I wanted to come in and just feel the vibe of the room with all the other artists and talented youngsters or whatever amongst me. And then she said, oh well, London, So I just took from that what I thought and went, well, I'll go a bit down the route of that, a bit like that. And they were like, no, it's a little bit too East End. And I went, okay then. She went somewhere between there and RP, and eventually I found what I felt fitted.
Yeah, and it did fit. I was saying off camera just before that it gave you almost an authoritative level against your other cast members, which was, I think, needed in that role, and that, for me, that worked really well.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of the musical arrangement, because some of the arrangement is quite different to what's taken place in the show. I mean, has that been vocally challenging for you?
This sort of music and Cliff's way of singing is so up my street anyway. My album, when I first hit the sort of screens, if you like, on X Factor, that's what most people sort of remember me for, vocally anyway, was all the swing and the orchestral movement, like with like the Frank Sinatra D-Mar, and they're all very bassy and baritone-y sort of voices, but with the ability to go up a little bit higher, but without going into falsetto, going into your sort of Frankie Valli era.
Yeah.
So for me, this wasn't vocally a big challenge. However, there's a lot of songs throughout the show.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of choreography.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be challenging in itself, because you're, as well as the singing, you're dancing at the same time.
Yeah.
You've got to keep time with the other cast members and the ensemble. I mean, that must be really demanding.
That was hard at first. To get used to it, yeah, because you are jumping up and down and you're trying to keep, your vocals clean so the audience can understand what you're saying. So, yeah, it was difficult at the time, but once I got used to it, my muscle memory and all things just sort of seemed to fit together. I don't know. At first, I was like, I can't do this. It's too much for me. I had a panic attack. I was phoning manager going, I don't know what I'm doing. Why have you signed me up for this? And then it just sort of happened to sort of fall in place. I think one, not because of the hard work and passion and dedication from others involved, but the cast have really been so supportive of me in that role, because again, it was the first sort of role for me indeed anyway, coming from a completely different angle.
There's a lot of chemistry going on there as well. I mean, the chemistry between you and Barbara was fantastic. The chemistry between the other cast members and their beaux, for want of a better description, very 1950s term, is great. So there's clearly been a lot of enjoyment through this, and I'm sure you're going to be sorry to see the end of it.
Yeah.
But am I able to ask what you're moving on to next?
Yes, so I'll be in Chatham in Kent over the Christmas period, doing Dick Whittington at the Central Theatre from the beginning of December right through to the 31st. And then next year, and well, throughout all of this time, when you're getting days off, weekends off, or weeks off, throughout this up until the end of this year and into next year, I'll be doing a lot of my own gigs with my own band now. I've got a band, so I'll be doing all my orchestral stuff, and I'm back in the studio recording for another swing orchestral album for next year.
That's great.
So fingers crossed that all goes well.
Back to the ice at all?
No. My knees have had it now. I think this is enough for me now. I've turned 30 last week, and it's about time I sort of slow down on that, because I want to be able to dance for a lot longer than.
Absolutely. If you fancy seeing Summer Holiday the musical, it's on in Chester until Saturday the 15th. Ray Quinn is in the lead role, which was originally played by Cliff Richard in the film, and you're playing Don. Thank you very much indeed for taking time out of your day. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of the tour.
Thank
and
you.
Enjoy your warm-up.
Cheers.
Well, it wouldn't be Summer Holiday if I didn't get an opportunity to ride on the big red bus. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so realistic. I'd like to thank the entire production team for Summer Holiday for inviting me down today, and especially to Ray Quinn for taking time out of his schedule. This is Mike Sowden, reporting from the Storyhouse, Chester.